back to another video. I went to Fanwing Fest this weekend, and oh boy was it crazy. I'll be talking about absolutely everything I did, as well as showing you guys tons of videos and pictures to go along with it. When we get to the Book 16 news, I'll let you guys know. That way, some of you can avoid spoilers. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Driftler95, Thistle, Noopto, Pyronuke, Avril, Pancake, Escarada, Adequin, Atlas Cleaver, Shadowhunter, and Atlas Stargazer. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Getting to go to Fanwing Fest was such an amazing experience, so I can't wait to talk to you guys about my day. When I got there, I noticed there were some coloring boards outside with different Wings of Fire dragons on them. People were already bringing these characters to life while we all waited for registration to open, which was great to see. And this was a really cool idea. The entire day, I was just blown away by the amount of work Scholastic put into designing this event. Next to the huge coloring boards was a photo opportunity. I saw lots of awesome fans getting their pictures taken out here all throughout the day. After waiting in the long registration line, I was finally inside. Again, super impressed by everything here. There was so much Wings of Fire imagery everywhere you looked around the fest. This event took place inside a high school near the Barnes & Noble store, so there was a lot of room for each activity to take place. When you showed the Fanwing Fest staff your tickets, you were given some great and important items. First off, you got to choose which prophecy dragon you were representing through an event badge. Fans visiting in the morning, or that were at the front half of the line, got to choose between being a Nightwing, Sandwing, or Mudwing. I picked Sandwing. Anyone in the second half of the line, or that arrived in the afternoon, had the opportunity to be a Rainwing or Seawing and met Tui a little later. The badges were really nice, and I'm definitely keeping mine forever. You also got a signed copy of the limited edition version of Book 1, plus a fan art booklet. For those unaware, Scholastic hosted an art contest a while back for fans to submit in their pieces. Everyone in attendance at the fest got one of these for free, and it was marvelous to flip through the dazzling pages and see your creations. As I walked around the venue space, it was truly magnificent. There was a lot to do while you waited for scheduled activities. You had the option to check out the Glitter Bazaar, which was a booth with lots of different books and trinkets for you to buy. There were also numerous stations based on the kingdoms of the Dragonets of Destiny. Each little area had a photo spot and craft space. In Clay's Mud Kingdom, you could create dragon origami based on the given instructions. In Tsunami Sea Kingdom, you could make dragon jewelry, or bracelets, in order to give to the council as treasure. In Glory's Rainforest, you had the chance to take some adorable pictures with Silver the Sloth. Starflight's Corner was a nice little nook with beanbag chairs, a photo opportunity, some kits on how to make fortune tellers, and a space for coloring in your own Wings of Fire bookmark. But that wasn't all. Scattered around the kingdoms were many places where you could answer different Wings of Fire questions, such as which dragon you'd want as your sibling, what book recommendations you have, and much more. These were so cool, and I saw lots of awesome doodles to go along with it all. They even had a fan art display center where people could create works of their own right there to hang up, or bring from home and show off. They also had a way for you to vote on which dragon power you think is the coolest. While this was reset throughout the day, Animus Magic always came out on top. Additionally, there was an airbrush tattoo station where you could get temporary waft designs on you, as well as a face painting booth. I saw so many people walking around with Wings of Fire inspired face paint. It was so cool. The crafts were mostly catered toward a younger demographic, I'd say, but that fit the age range I saw present overall. I am not good at crafts, so my things didn't turn out the best. After I had some fun going around the kingdoms and booths, it was time for my photo op with Tui. It was such a huge honor to finally get to meet her, and she's so sweet. Tui spent time saying hello to everybody in each party, and I really appreciated that. I do have to blur myself out, but here's me with the legendary author of Wings of Fire herself. I had a bit of free time after my picture, so I decided to go somewhere for lunch. I ordered this mac and cheese bowl, and it was absolutely huge. I had to call for reinforcements. There were also other fan wings there too. You're allowed to re-enter the venue as long as you have your badge, so I could easily get back in once I was done relaxing. After lunch, it was time for the tribal trivia. 6 randomly selected audience members got the chance to go on stage in order to compete with the opposing team. I recorded the trivia challenge because it was definitely a lot of fun to watch. I know my clips are a bit long, but I wanted to share some of the good times with you guys that weren't there, or missed the first trivia session. You can use timestamps to skip by this if you want, but it was a great time, and pretty funny.
Welcome to the Hypia stage. It is time for our tribal trivia game show. We're here to find out who knows the most about Wings of Fire by asking a series of trivia questions. Now, before the show, we selected 6 contestants, and they are currently sitting in the audience. So let's bring them to the stage and make lots of noise. Our players are going to be separated into 2 winglets, the silver winglet and the gold winglet. If you were enrolled in Jade Mountain Academy, which cave would you spend the most time in? Would it be the art cave, the library, the prey center, or the sleeping cave?
Center. Prey center.
Why is that?
So like eating.
Fair enough. Let's hear it for our gold winglets. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering how our game is played, and don't worry, I'm going to explain that right now. Clawmates are going to spin this wheel for a chance to get a question in one of these categories. You will have 5 seconds with your team to discuss what you think the answer will be, and if you run out of time or get the question incorrect, then the opposite team will have a chance to answer the same question and steal control of the game. Now, every time you spin this wheel, you risk landing here. When a team lands here on the lose control panel, they lose control. That means the other team will get a chance to spin the wheel and you lose your turn, so be careful. Now, for every question that you get correctly, you will earn your team one of these dragon eggs. After our second round, you will have a chance to wager all your collected dragon eggs on one final question. And by the end of the game, the team who has earned the most dragon eggs will earn the title of Superfan and go home with the Wings of Fire prize pack. Come on over to the wheel. Go for it, Gunner. Prophecies and magic. All right, Gold Winglets, here's your next question. Which dragonette surprises everyone with a deadly power while imprisoned by Queen Scarlet? You have 5 seconds. Which dragonette surprises everyone with a deadly power while imprisoned by Queen Scarlet? That is correct! That is another dragonette for the silver winglets. The gold winglets.
After trivia, the cosplay parade began. And let me just say, there were lots of you guys dressed up. It was awesome. Everyone ran around the main stage in an orderly line, showing off their costumes. At the end, fans could optionally choose to go on the stage itself and announce who they were. Here's some more of the parade. I stayed in my seat once everything was wrapped up, as it was nearly time for the surprise guest to speak at a panel. This ended up being Mike Holmes, and it was great to see him again. I actually interviewed him last month. Joy Ang was a special guest at the Minnesota location last week, so they changed things up here. Mike answered a lot of awesome questions given to him by the host. While I did record the entire panel, here's just one of my highlights.
And it's just been the most incredible. Like, I realized, 2 books in, and I'm like, I get to draw my own action adventure movie, basically. But it's not mine, obviously. Like, it's Tui's and everybody else that works on these books. And it is better than I ever would have imagined in my life to do. Yeah,
that is a great answer.
Yeah.
I'm curious, can you tell us how you came to be the illustrator for the graphic novels? How did that happen?
Well, I handed somebody a big check. And then, I tested out, I auditioned. I've been working on comics for about 20 years. And I've been doing these other series, and I have an agent, and she said, would you like to try out for the series Wings of Fire? And she's like, it is all dragons. And I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. So I auditioned, I drew all of the main characters, all the 5 prophecy dragons, and everybody else. I did Scarlet, and I handed it in, just kind of going, please pick me. And they came back, and they asked me to make a few changes, and I was like, absolutely, whatever you want. I got the job.
It's quite an honor, isn't it, to be the person that brings it to life?
I mean, even then, it felt like a great honor, but just looking out right now and being a part of Fanwing Fest and seeing how everybody is so involved and so into this, and I'm like, good, I'm not the only one. The honor doesn't begin to describe it. It's so cool.
It was so great hearing him talk about the books. Mike Holmes revealed that the Talents of Power graphic novel is finished in its entirety, and he's just working on the cover right now. He ran it by Tui recently, and she asked for a different pose, something Mike is thrilled to do. I can't wait to see this cover when it is complete. Once Mike's panel was done, it was time for Tui's special presentation. I wasn't able to get it on video due to the host asking for no cameras to be put away, but I took lots of notes while Tui was reading an excerpt of Book 16, The Hybrid Prince. This section of the book will contain some spoilers, so if you want to wait for your own fest location first, navigate the timestamps below and move to a spoiler-free part. Well, I did get this spoiled for me beforehand. The POV of Book 16 is going to be Umber of the Mudwings. Tui stated that this novel is going to follow him and Sora as they flee mainland Pyria looking for asylum. Since, as you may remember, Sora accidentally caused the deaths of some dragons at Jade Mountain Academy. However, regardless of his sister's past behavior and mistakes, Umber doesn't want to leave Sora's side. So, the sibling duo left it all and headed for a new place. This excerpt talked all about Beryl introducing us to this dragon, as well as the character who might be our titular hybrid prince. I'll be discussing and breaking down the entire excerpt in next weekend's first video, so get excited. Because on this hybrid island, things aren't as they seem. Following Tui's shocking reading of Book 16, I explored the fest one final time before starting my journey home. It was such a magical experience to get to attend the second ever Fanwing Fest in the world. Based on the success here and the happiness it brought so many people, I know Scholastic will want to bring this back. The only thing I'd say for the future is for there to be a few more activities geared toward Wings of Fire's older readers. Otherwise, it was a complete blast, and so well executed. I hope everyone attending had fun too. For those of you heading to a future location, I'd recommend to bring water and snacks from home. Be prepared that it can get really overstimulating at times, so have some comfort items or headphones if you need to. I made the fatal mistake of going in with absolutely nothing. And don't be afraid to chill in your car, outside the building, or at a nearby restaurant if you need a few minutes. But that's pretty much it for this video. I can't wait to delve into more Book 16 news next time, as well as discuss some of the brand new Wings of Fire merch. What did you guys think about all this? Which activity would be your favorite? Let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.